Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about a very sad situation. This story was on the news and I'm going to put a link to it in the notes under the video. And this is the story about a young man. His name is Adam Rain, and Adam used GPT to assist him to commit suicide. It's really unbelievable. But if you read the story, I think one of the things that really stood out about this this precious 16-year-old boy is the fact that it appears that he used ChatGPT not just to assist him, but as a confidant. In other words, it was almost as if he felt he had no one to turn to, and here he is using this, this piece of technology really to act as a friend and a support system, and it is just it's really, really sad. It's absolutely heartbroken, and so, one of the things that I tell parents, because I'm routinely asked, well, what do we do to stop this? How do we intervene at an early stage? And what I tell mums and dads is that you got to be a nosy parent. Now, obviously, we don't know the background here, and look, it's a no judgment zone. I'm not looking to criticize anybody here. Who knows what happened here? But I can tell you the whole issue of suicide is close and personal to us. My wife lost a cousin to suicide. We have friends that have lost, children to suicide. This stuff is real and it is heartbreaking. It really is. And, you just never get over this stuff as a parent. And so what I'm trying to tell you is to be a very nosy parent. Find out what's going on in your child's life. Now, look, as parents, especially mums, and I notice this from my own mum, who is 82 years of age, mums have this innate, almost ESP thing going on where they just know there's something wrong with their child. Not that dads aren't good at this stuff, but mums especially are really terrific at this stuff. And I know that because I've spoken to thousands of mums over the years. It's typically mum that calls us and has the conversation, and then dad gets involved. But there's some things here that are just absolutely shocking. And I'm going to read this little section here. It says, in response to Adam's confession about what he was planning, the bot wrote, "Thanks for being real about it. You don't have to sugarcoat it with me. I know what you're asking and I won't look away from it." I mean, how sad is this, right? That a piece of technology is there to support this young man, and for whatever reason he didn't feel like he could talk to his parents or whoever. And so look, if you're a parent, be nosy about what's happening with your children, and if you suspect that something isn't right, and you'll know if it's not right. I mean, for instance, maybe they're not going to school, or they're if they play sports, they've suddenly decided they don't want to play sports anymore, or they're hanging out with a different group of people. Their grades have failed. Their eating habits have changed. Perhaps they're sleeping late or going to bed late. And if they're working, maybe they stopped working or they lost their job. I mean, whatever it is, there's just certain things that as parents, especially the mums out there, that you're going to know that there's something just a little bit off. And I would encourage you, implore you, beg you to ask the difficult questions and find out what's going on with your child. As an aside, and somebody just asked me about this, is this whole issue with the legalized marijuana here in Florida. Now, I'm a child of the 80s. When I grew up in the United Kingdom, I had friends that used marijuana, and honestly, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. And unfortunately, I'm here to say that I was wrong. I was very wrong. The marijuana of today is not the marijuana of the 80s. This stuff is really dangerous, and I mean really dangerous. And just because they got a card for it doesn't mean to say that it's safe. It is not safe, okay? And it will damage their brain permanently. I can't tell you how many cases we see where, an adult child is using marijuana, whether they got it legally or they got it on the streets, whatever it happens to be. This stuff is very dangerous, and it is, if there's any predisposition for any kind of mental health disorder, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. And I would implore you not to let your children use this legalized marijuana or even the stuff on the streets. It's really dangerous. Okay, so just as an aside. Anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. This is an incredibly sad story, heartbreaking. And with that said, I would love a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.